What's up, Trekkies? Hi, we've got a fair bit of news and something I want to show you guys, but that's at the end. I'm getting the news out of the way first. So as per typical, we're starting with console. The breach is coming for you guys. It's coming to you guys, coming for you guys, however you want to think of it. That starts, Xbox. April 19th, so Thursday, and then goes all the way till May 10th. So before the Avengers comes out till well after the Avengers comes out. We're at that point now, guys. Come on. What this is, captains between 50 and 60 can queue up for 5-man breach event to defeat the Voth City ship. Basically, you're flying down the canyon, you spin around the outside, you come in, you hit the hole. Now, recently, I've just figured this one out. If you queue for advance, so the actual queuing system, not just the event one, you actually go through the whole long version. It's worth more marks overall because you have optionals, and it's a bit more fun. So, and again, it's advanced, so it's worth more marks. If you really just want to get your Voth transmission thing, cool. Do this easy version, all that jazz. If you got a fleet event that you guys want to go through and you're going to pound this through, but you guys are wanting to get marks at the same time, go through the advanced version. You still get your code, Voth operative transmission. You do that every 20 hours. So there's something you guys can do with your fleet and get much more benefit out of just doing the basic version. The advanced queue is always there. Like I did the advanced queue yesterday, and that's the one where like your hard points matter to an extent, and then you fly around and you fly down and underneath and you blow in the side. And you have to go through multiple different things and clear out, and you have the hangar bay, and then you got the big Citadel ship inside, and then you got to go through. There's a lot to do. That's the thing. Again, if you don't really care about doing the instance for fun and you're just queuing up for random, do the easy version. Don't worry about optionals. Things will happen. It'll end with 50,000 dilithium, 500 fleet marks, 250 marks of your choice, and brand new universal console, the Voth phase decoy. Basically, the Palisade ships, the NPCs, where they kind of disappear, and then like a Palisade ship goes flying up, and then you destroy it, and it's like you get the little lighting comes out and like makes your ship kind of do this little thing. Yeah, that's basically what it is. It creates a decoy that then explodes when it dies, and you become untargetable momentarily. It'll also set engines offline because it basically fries their engines. So if you're escaping something, it's pretty good. Additionally, it's a passive boost to maximum hull and anti-proton damage. So benefit if you're a tank. I mean, if you're really trying for a tank, this is really good because most people like to do anti-proton damage in general because it helps with DPS, and with maximum hull, you got maximum hull. Once the main thing's complete, you can continue doing this. Like if you guys go through with your main fleet and then do all these, everything, but then your fleeties are like, oh, I don't want to do this anymore, you can still go through the basic version, the easy version, quick, so you can get 2,000 dilithium a day, 50 fleet marks, 35 marks of your choice. That's it. You can do that every day by turning in one more operative thing. It's a 21-day event, so you've got 50,000 dilithium for 14, and then for another 7 you can get 2,000 dilithium, so it's another 14,000 dilithium. I mean, assuming you're not on an exact 20-hour cooldown. If you do, I haven't done the math on that one. You guys are also getting the console, getting the Infinity promotion at the same time. For the same length. So you guys are getting the Infinity promotion, which is special R&D ships from before, stuff that never came in an event or a box of its own. This thing again, you get an R&D pack, it comes with as an Infinity R&D pack, and you open that up, you'll get your R&D pack, but the outer box has a chance to have 10 lobi or one of the typical ships. There's no new ships on the list. It's like, if you look at it, it goes all the way from Anorax down to the Zenkethi Zentar, and has the 26th century giant ships that shouldn't fit anywhere. It'd be cool if you get one of those things. You can always scare people and fly that Enterprise J down the breach. And then there's, each of these packs is 300 Zen, or you can get a 4-pack for 1,000. Built up your stipend or whatnot. It's pretty cool. I'm not sure if you guys have stipends. Can you have lifetime on console? But in this case, so the bundle, you'll just get 4 Infinity packs. Not one that unlocks into 4, so you don't have nested stuff. That's console. Over on PC, do we have anything new? Because I have 2 things to talk about with that. Oh my gosh, I keep coming out with information. All right, we'll do this one first. Big news day. I don't even know why. I recorded something earlier to put at the end of the video, but I didn't realize the video was going to be so long. All right, so as is 10:10 right now, PST. They're typically, this came out at 9:30. The previous news thing came out yesterday at 9 a.m. And the other thing I'm going to talk about came out this morning at 9 a.m. Bear with me on this one. We're going with this one first because it seems much more available to everyone's going to do this one. Upon the release of the next expansion, Victory is Life, apparently that's its name now, all characters will find themselves capable of earning levels beyond the current cap of 60, starting immediately. Any and all earned will start players with the path toward a new maximum level cap of 65. In addition to raising your level, Victory of Life will also raise the cap on item marks. Players will now be able to progress their equipment to Mark 15 by using upgrade tech and investing in them via the item upgrade system. The technology point requirements increase rate are linear beyond 14, and any points already present on an existing item will not be lost and can immediately be utilized to facilitate the item's progression to 15. By the way, we got an upgrade weekend coming. So you know this stuff's coming. We have an upgrade weekend coming. You're like 3 days out from it, at least according to the calendar. That would be a good time to get in, at least get your technology points up there. You don't have to worry about your quality, but get your technology points up there so that when it's at 14, yeah, I know. It'd be beneficial if you waited till after the expansion came out and then put your stuff in there, but when you get it to 14, then you can start working on the quality now rather than later. Equipment Mark 15 will require at least 60 to be level 60 to be worn. Players have already at the current level cap may begin enhancing their gear immediately when the expansion goes live. That's another thing. I'm not sure when the next upgrade weekend is going to be. So if you want to upgrade your stuff to at least 14, you can do that. I'd say work on the fact that it's 14 in cap to get your quality up there if that's what you're caring about. But get your things up to 14 so that you can immediately progress it in. Old experiences. Savvy players may have already noticed that the experience required to progress from 59 to 60 is currently far less than the experience required to earn each specialization point once you've reached 60. This may cause concerns about how each level will scale past 60. Fear not! While the requirements for each level past 60 are greater than those below, the difference is far smaller than the existing specialization point required as shown here. Level 55, experience required to level 12,500, cumulative experience required 75,000. Level 60, experience required per level 12,500, cumulative experience 137,500. This is a chart and a table, and specialization point requires 159,100, cumulative experience required 296,600. Numbers are getting weird. As you can see, the amount of experience required per specialization point is actually remaining exactly the same, despite us having given you 5 more levels to obtain. Oh. Any existing specialization experience you have earned above 60 progression above level 60 progression you have currently earned towards a specialization point will be stored when Victory is Life is launched. Any existing specialization experience that you have earned above 60 progression you have earned towards a specialization point will be stored when Victory is Life is launched and returned to you in full when you reach the new level cap. This will appear as an empty experience bar, but this is only temporary. That progression will be refunded to you immediately upon hitting 65, allowing you to pick up right where you left off towards earning your next specialization point. Okay, that's good. That's awesome. Time to progress. Progression through the existing levels of Star Trek Online is primarily accomplished by completing story missions, as laid out in your captain's journal. Okay. It has become an expectation of our progression that completing one of these story missions will generally reward you with at least half a level, generally more, making them almost always the most efficient means of earning experience and leveling up. We don't intend to upset this expectation with Victory is Life. Each of the new story missions being released with this expansion will grant all captains more than half a level each, and even more if you're using an XP bonus pool. Miracle Worker ships, those two, FYI. If you have those, one of them, you may want to do this, you'll level faster. Meaning that you will be well on your way to the new cap without needing to invest much outside of the central plot as it unfurls before you in the Gamma Quadrant. Technically, to me, the first time they've said this, that it's in the Gamma Quadrant. At level 61, you will be rewarded with a tier 5 ship token, woo, and a tier 5 ship upgrade token, so you can get that thing to tier 5U. Description: claim a free tier 5 ship from any Starship acquisition vendor, then apply the token to upgrade it to tier 5U. Level 62, you'll get a specialization qualification manual. Used to add a specialization of your choice to one bridge officer. Choose one of the following: Intel, Command Pilot, Temp Op, and Miracle Worker. Cool. 63, Captain ability. Each profession, engineering, science, and tactical, will gain access to rank 1 of an all-new ability for use during space combat. More details coming soon. What? They better be more themed. I mean, I understand tactical team, or tactical fleet, engineering fleet, science fleet, but come on. We need something a little bit more thematic. Of like, the thing. It's like, oh, I got a party boost that gives shields. Woo. Works well in instances, not so well in battlegrounds, because you gotta be in their battle zones, because you gotta be in teams for that to work. Level 64, Elite Gamma Quadrant Duty Officers. Multiple high-quality duty officers direct from the Gamma Quadrant. Fill your roster with members of the alien species seen on screen in the episodes of Deep Space Nine. Probably bringing back the Gamma Quadrant Duty Officer pack, but maybe tweaked a little bit. At level 65, you'll get an epic Admiralty ship. A Cardassian ship. CUV Tane. The ship of Elim Garak himself can be called to aid you on Admiralty assignments. Let's just say you'll have earned a favor or two by the time you've reached this level. Now I'm excited. What's missing? In light of all the things that the level cap increase can be to an online game, we feel it's important to list the few things that will not be included in Victory is Life, so that proper expectations can be set. No new ranks. Captain, or admirals, or generals, etc., have progressed quite far in their careers already. We didn't feel as though an increase of 5 levels was sufficient to warrant the inclusion of any further ranks to signify this career improvement. No new ship tier. This has been a common question asked in our communities ever since the level cap increase was first announced. As of now, we have no intention of extending ship ranks available in Star Trek Online beyond the current Tier 6 offerings. Additional ships will always be a fact of life as the game continues growing, but we're not currently planning on upward expansion in this regard. As with all content that's been released for Star Trek Online, there will be no purchase necessary to advance beyond level 60. In fact, all of the story missions contained within the Victory is Life expansion will be free to all players. Those looking to enhance their gameplay through the purchase of additional ships, costumes, and more should stay tuned for other upcoming announcements. There's probably going to be some stuff announced. I'm not sure if it's been recently announced. Are they doing a dump on us? Okay. If you want to read like the experience and level, all that stuff, I'll put a link below. Okay, next. First thing I read was Deep Space Nine's getting a total rebuild. Not going to go too terribly much into this one, except for the fact that they started it way back during the Iconian War. That's probably why we had the Dominion make a appearance. Stuff like that is referenced because the Dominion did show up with Sela. So they've rebuilt the entirety of the Promenade Ring to match the show. This means that all of your favorite spots are there, including one you've already got a sneak peek of in the recent episode, The Renegade's Regret. It's a security office and its holding cells. In addition, they've updated or added the Infirmary, the Bajoran Temple, the Klingon Deli, the Jumja Stand, the Replimat, and of course, Garak's Clothiers. Oh, and how could I have forgotten Quark's Bar? Quark's is fun after all. Quark's, like everything else, has been completely rebuilt from scratch. It's now open to the promenade on both the first floor and the second floor. Basically, you can click the link. It's gonna list it's gonna show you all the screenshots and stuff that they've done and how this does. It's, the art aspects and the art assets and whatnot, and how it's like, here's what Quark's Bar is gonna look like. It's gonna be, i.e. open to the promenade, and you can see the first and second floor, but it's got like construction textures going on. Like one of these textures says like T-box 10 foot by 10 foot. Like, just click it, it's hilarious. It's got a picture of inside the infirmary where it was like you had the big screen up there and like this arcing thing with the chair in the middle of it. Yeah. That's going to be cool. But they've basically been watching a lot of Deep Space Nine and going over the interiors. They've been reading the set stuff from Stage 17 where they built the promenade for the actual show. So they have the stuff behind that. And it's really cool. If you're into, like, you know, learning the art aspects, that's great. You know, I know people are interested in, like, computer design and stuff. I perused all of it. And they just explain some of this stuff. That now we are going to have, there's not much information on this one. There's probably going to be a blah stuff later. We're bringing in Cardassians. Cardassians as a playable species for both Starfleet and Klingon factions. I already read on the Star Trek Online, not the X Star Trek Online, but what people shared into the closed group, I guess? Yeah. And the things on there, they're like, the Cardassians would never join that. Okay, first of all, the Cardassians, most people know, would never join the Federation. Those are also the true way. And the old guard Cardassians. The new guard Cardassians have realized that they've had a decimated homeworld and are trying to rebuild. Alliances may be pretty, like the Obsidian Orders, probably not a thing anymore. The inherent paranoia that led to them joining the Dominion probably isn't the greatest thing to do anymore. So they've been rebuilding, and hopefully we'll go through why they're joining either side. Even if you have to roll yourself a Cardassian. That's fine if they want to put that behind a roll and alt wall. I guess is what we'll call it. It says all information in this blog post is subject to change. Duh. Once a dominant force in the Alpha Quadrant, Cardassian Union fought on the losing side of the Dominion War. The impact of that conflict is felt to this day on Cardassia Prime, left in a devastated state during the war's final days. Despite many hardships, the proud, ruthless, and cunning people of Cardassia have forged their way into the 25th century with grim determination. After the Dominion War, Cardassia's military is a shadow of its former self, reduced to a defensive peacekeeping force. With the re-emergence of the Dominion and the threat of the True Way terrorist group, many Cardassians feel that more has to be done to protect their home. A number of them have pledged their support to the Klingon Empire or Federation as a result. Okay, so it's going to be like the Romulan. Datan, yeah, is like still a part of the Romulan Republic. He's not allied with either side, but you as a player are a part of the Romulan Republic that's allied with the other side. So you're still going to be Cardassian, you're still going to be a part of the Cardassian Union, but you're going to be allied to the other side. So this is kind of how this has to go, apparently, because they can't create a third faction. This is like another half faction. It's like we had Klingon and Federation, so we had two factions. Then they brought in the Romulans, but that was like a half faction. So it was like 2.5 factions. But now we don't have 3 full factions. We have 2 factions and 2 half factions. Anyways, the only information we have here is a space trait and a ground trait. Recalled tactics. Cardassians are well known for their photographic memory and mental strength, which is utilized during combat to recall the extensive combat training instructions. Every 5 seconds, while you're in combat, you will gain 1 stack of recalled tactics, which will increase your damage, accuracy, and defense for a short time. Cool. Unique ground trait. Superior mental fortitude. Increase your resistance to mind-controlling attacks, enhancing innate resistances to effects of confuse, stun, and placate. This also makes you immune to the Vulcan nerve pinch. Huh. They do technically have an armored neck, so I guess so. Stay tuned for more information on how to unlock this new playable race, which will be testable on Tribble very soon. Everything there that I can see. Let us force refresh the main page. Oh, we are good to go. Level 65, Cardassian, redesign. Cool. Now, to go into what I did earlier. So, I sold my Kelvin Connie on the exchange. It took like a week to do it. In the process of doing this, by accumulating so much EC, I was able to buy the Tier 6 time ship, the Vern class, with the enhanced Tippler cylinder. I could have done this before as I had the Wells and the Mobius and the Paradox, because once that ship system came out, they switched everything over. But I wanted to make sure to I still wanted the enhanced Tippler cylinder, because it's 15% exotic damage. Are you kidding me? Let's just move me down here to the corner and I'll show you things. I'm in the Badlands, obviously. It's just that it's because I was in combat. Here, this is the Tippler cylinder, the enhanced Tippler cylinder. Now, basically what this does is it rewinds time. as this happens, you basically back up a little bit, you kind of wiggle a little bit, whatever. And you heal shields and hull while you're doing it, and your bridge officers kind of cool down faster. It's really cool. Mobius and the enhanced Mannheim will come from the Klein. That is in the low-buy store. The Mannheim device splits your ship, as you can see here. Basically what that does is it creates, you have a photonic fleet, but they're of your ships. And these are very stupid versions of your ship. You can see I'm on my Vesta doing this. I'm not in a time ship. These 3 consoles are used on any ship now. So this makes maybe getting, like, if you really want to do the rewind time, cool. If you temporal backstep, if you want to have if you have the low buy, you can maybe get yourself the enhanced Mannheim device, so you can split your ship. If you've got both of those, then your temporal backstep freezes things in place. They also become untargetable, but any AoE effects in the area still affect them while they're held still. That's torturous if you know how to use it right. And then you back up and you heal. The Paradox, also from the low buy store, has temporal distortions, as you can see here. Now, temporal distortions, it's weird because it doesn't activate right away because I've clicked it and then it has to have like a momentary charge time. But if you just give it like a half second, it'll activate. Now, it's weird because if you have gravity wells that proc, you'll kind of notice this, except these are just little dots, as you can see here. They're little dots, and it basically creates an AoE snare. It doesn't do much damage. It's like, as you can see, it's like 167. I don't know, I don't have the greatest EPG. I'm mostly draining, but it's like 167 DP half second, damage per half second. But it slows everything down, and they have like no impulse power. What's great is to put this thing up and then drop a gravity well on somebody, because then they have no impulse power and they're being pulled back. It's really good. If you can combo things, but still it's a good snare, like in Draenor space. So like everything shows up, and as they're about ready to die, you hit temporal distortions on the dying boss, or the dying last thing, and it brings them all up, and then the next force comes in and they're immediately stopped effectively. So that's beneficial. If you have all 3 of these consoles on your ship, that gives you 10% reduced science bridge officer abilities and 50% reduced cooldown on these 3 consoles. It's like temporal backstep once a minute. You can Mannheim device, I think, every 90 seconds, and the same thing with temporal distortions. It's ridiculously disgusting. You can put it on any ship. I haven't seen it, but I'd really like to see a Jupiter or a Kitty Crate. I'd like to see something just gigantically huge. I mean, I've seen my Anorex do it, but I'd like to see something that's not typical sized. Like, oh look, I have a Jupiter. And boom, there's 2 Jupiters. What? 3 of them. Technically your future self, your past self, and your present self. Time. Anyways, that's all for this week. If you got any excitements, wonderfulness, comment below. I will check you guys next week for possibly more news blurbs about Victory is Life. Bye.